Thank you for joining me today. We are going to talk about automation and adding agility and reducing costs. So,
sounds great.
First question, if leaders should know one thing about IT automation and what it can do for their organization, what should they know and why?
Yeah, that is a great question. So one of the things to think about as a leader is there's three things that are super important to your business. And I'm not telling them anything they don't already know. But the challenge that we have in the market today is that there is a ton of complexity. The fact of the matter is that the amount of devices and things and applications and just things that have to be managed continues to grow exponentially, right? That also is a challenge because your teams aren't growing exponentially in size, right? So how do you do more with less when you may not really actually have less people, but you've got more that you have to manage and deal with? And additionally, the ability to get to where we talk about a lot. I mean, I can't have a conversation with you without saying AI, right? And ultimately, organizations are thinking, wow, there's a lot of things out there happening that can help me, that is AI related, that can help me solve some of these challenges. But it's kind of hard to get to trusting AI without trusting automation to help solve the complexity and even some of the skills gaps that exist in teams today.
So, when talking about some of those skills gaps and where they are trying to get to, what should business leaders be thinking about around IT automation and the business impacts it has?
Yeah, so things to think about are how do I increase efficiencies of my teams, right? So one of the best ways to help deliver to the business is to increase the efficiencies. And additionally, another great way to deliver to the business is driving costs, out of your operations. And last but not least, you always have to think about how do we realize time to value? How do we get features, functions, things that need to happen that are to our end customers, whether the end customer is in your organization or a customer facing role, how do we actually speed the time to value, right? And so those are three key, really easy ways to be able to add business value to your organization, is to be able to increase your efficiency, drive costs out of your operations, and be able to realize time to value faster than maybe you are today.
And as you're realizing time to value, what approaches are you seeing that have worked really well?
Yeah, that's a very, very loaded question, Emily. A lot of the approaches, it can vary, right? One thing that I will say to our leaders out there today is I will actually assert that automation it's important. A lot of you believe that your teams are automating, right? They're saying, oh yeah, automation, we all do automation. But without a strategic commitment from you as a leader to drive automation throughout your organization, across teams, collaborating together, you're probably not going to see as much adoption for automation without that leadership coming from you and helping your team say this is important, right? And so a lot of folks look at it that you kind of start small and you build up to it. That's a great way to start. A lot of times that's where you see immediate value happening, right? But I will say, to make it basically part of your organization's culture and part of what you do every day, it has to come from a strategic commitment from you as a leader.
So you've led me nicely into my next question, whether you knew that or not. What are some good tips then? So the business leaders really need to have it included in their strategic direction and goals. How can they work better with their technical teams to make that really happen?
Yeah, so a couple of things to think about is, one, oftentimes the technical teams are looking for something that allows them to be consistent and reliable across different technologies, right? So that's one of the beautiful things around Ansible and Ansible Automation Platform, is that there is the ability to have a consistent way to do automation using a consistent language, something that can be used by any team, no matter what type of team it is, right? So that's something that teams often are looking for. Additionally, when you are trying to automate multiple things and you are looking at different, like whether it's in cloud or networks or edge, having a common language, a common framework to do things is definitely really, really important. Additionally, one thing to really think about is how do you actually maximize the skills of your teams? We talked a little bit about how there's some challenges around being able to add people to your teams. Well, one of the best ways to maximize the subject matter expertise is to be able to codify what it is that they are doing and to be able to repeat that in a consistent way across wherever you need it to happen.
Perfect. Well, my final question, how can folks get started?
A great way to start is to check out the Red Hat's website. You can do a trial. You can actually reach out to any one of your account executives and start asking about how you can look at adopting things at scale. We also have a couple of offerings within our services organization. One of my favorite things is our community of practices offering. And so I cannot tell you how important it is to build a community of practice within your organization to help people learn about automation, how to learn from each other, and how to scale that. And so one great way to get started is just start thinking about how you would build a community of practice within your organization.